It's story time today. So you know what that means. I'm gonna be spilling some tea today. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. All my social media contacts are below, so please do connect with me. Today I'm gonna talk to you guys about a time when I went on a double date and we ended up in a huge car accident, and it was really terrifying. So I'm just gonna let you guys know the full story, and here we go. So this story is from a decade ago where I went on a double date with my best friend at the time. And it was just such a really fun night. I remember going out for dinner, and then we went clubbing with these two guys that we knew. We used to go out often with these guys. You know, we're kind of just dating them. It was the summertime. It was fun. We were young, whatever. Ends at like 2, 3 in the morning, where most likely I was gonna sleep over my friend's house. I remember us driving close to her neighborhood, and we weren't ready to go home. Like, the guys were like, let's just chill there. Let's just, like, you know, crack some joke. I remember being at the back of the car with the guy I was, you know, dating at the time, just talking and getting to know each other. And my friend was at the front on the passenger seat. And then the guy that she liked was the driver. I remember the guy was like looking out the window, and I was seeing a park, which wasn't too far away. And I was like, hey, do you want to just like go to the park and, you know, go on the swings for a little bit? I didn't go swinging in a long time. And he's like, really? Like right now? And it was probably like 3, 4 in the morning, but I just felt like doing it. Something like told me, like, let me just go on a swing, just be like a kid again. Let me just go and have a little fun. So he's like, okay, let's go. Came out of the car, and it was one of those SUVs, as I can remember. My friend's like, where are you guys going? And we're like, oh, we're just gonna go to the park, you know, talk for a little bit. There was no one, it was outdoors. You know, it was late at night. People were most likely sleeping. We went to the park, and I would go on swings, and like, you know, he's pushing me and we're cracking jokes. And before you know it, our view is looking towards the car that my friend and the guy that she's seeing. It's like a school zone road, you know, so you're supposed to be going slow. And all of a sudden, I see the SUV fly in the air. I literally started running so fast to this car, because all I could think of was like, holy crap, my best friend's in there, the guy's in there, like what the hell just happened? So I remember flying off swing. The guy behind me was obviously running after me too, because he was like, whoa, what the hell did we just see? I just remember this SUV so high in the air, and it just flew, hit a tree, went back down on the ground. It was slow motion. When I saw the car going by, I was just remember like, what am I seeing right now? Is this real? You know what I mean? To see if she's hurt, see if she's okay. And I remember her being passed out, and I had to be like calling her name constantly, like, hey, and say, are you okay? Are you hurt? I try to see if I could help her out of the car, because, you know, I don't know if the car is gonna turn up into flames or like, you know, start burning. You don't know. And the guy of mine was obviously checking up on his friend to see he was hurt, and he was hurt, like his leg was hurt badly. And I remember just trying to carry my friend out of the car, and I seriously felt like I wanted to cry so bad, because I was just like, I couldn't believe what just happened. Like, what idiot did this? You know what I mean? What happened was the car was parked late at night, and some guy who went clubbing, I'm assuming that night, or went to a bar, who drank way too much, drunk driving, he was going so fast that he crashed into the back of their SUV that they had. So when he crashed into them, their car just went flying in the air. Like, when I mean flying, like flying, okay? The car, and I remember my guy was talking to his friend, and his friend was like, oh my God, my leg is stuck. So he's trying to help him out. And it was so terrifying at this point. I was just like, oh my God. I wasn't even thinking about myself. At the time, after the fact, I seriously said, 1 minute, I said to myself, let me just go in the park and go on the swings for a second. Well, like, why not? And then all of a sudden that car accident happened, and who knows what would happen if I was in the car and the guy that I was talking to was in the car. Like, we probably could have flew out the window shield for sure. We weren't wearing any seatbelts because the car was parked. So like, we're all just like, you know, took off our seatbelts and just talking to each other. And luckily I did decide to go to the park. That way I wasn't in the accident. I was able to help, and we were able to, you know, try to get 911 to get there immediately. And now it's probably like 5, 6 in the morning. It's dark outside. Now we're like trying to figure out with this guy. He was in like a black car. I don't know what kind of car it was. I remember he came out of his car and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, like I can't believe, like, are you guys okay? And his head was so busted. There's a huge bumps on his head because he hit his head. And obviously when he crashed, and his front of the car was so mashed up, like it was mashed, guys, okay? But I think he was like Spanish, good looking guy, and he obviously made the wrong mistake of drinking too much that night, decided to go in his car to drive, thinking that he was okay to go home that way. But you know what? A lot of the times it's not okay because people die from other people or get injured themselves, and it's just not okay. You just don't know what's gonna happen when you're driving. Like regardless, there's so many things that could go wrong even if you don't drink and drive. So especially when you do drink and drive, I'm just telling you guys, all the younger drivers, like, do not do it. Do not drink and drive. It's a bad idea. If you want to really go out and party and drink, make sure you have a friend or a family member who's gonna pick you up, or take a cab or get Lyft or Uber. I'm just letting all the younger people and the adults, because adults still do it, and older folks. So it's just not a good idea, because this incident could have been avoided if this guy didn't drink and drive, right? It was really such a scary time. Like I literally thought I could have lost my friend. And at that time I was just so overwhelmed with emotions. So try not to cry, but at the same time just like, oh my God, like I'm so happy you're alive and you're safe. Even though like she knocked out for a little bit, I was just so happy to be there. Like I was the first person to help her to like get out the situation. Like it wasn't a stranger, what's going on. It was like a regular face, and she didn't even know what happened. You know, trying to wake her up a little bit, not rushing anything, but I was just trying to make sure to get her out the car. That was my main focus. This car literally just flew in the air. You guys were just in a car accident. And she's like, what? Like she was so confused for the first few minutes, where I had to just, you know, try to like let her know slowly like what just happened. That's why I tell people things could happen within a second, within hours, within a day. So you don't know what your future is, right? No one knows. And that's the scary part and the blessing part of it all. Just like thinking like this was a really good lesson to me. Anyways, when we came out the car now, my guy friend is like laying on the ground because he's hurt badly. Like his back is hurting, his knees is feeling kind of messed up, the way how it was positioned. And my friend is just, you know, just on me. Like I'm just caressing her a little bit, trying to comfort her and just trying to make sure that she's okay, and just to keep her focus with me. And the guy who caused the accident, he's just over and over again like apologized. At one point, you know, the guys are like cussing at him, like, what the F? Like, how could you do this? Like, you could have like ruined our lives. We could have died. They're upset about it, obviously, like, you know, but at the same time, it already happened. There's nothing that more we could do. And obviously this guy is hurt as well. It was such a loud noise when it happened that some people in the neighborhood started opening their doors and seeing what the hell just happened. I can't recall if I called the ambulance or if one of the neighbors called the ambulance for us. I just remember the ambulance coming maybe a half an hour later. It was a while we had to wait, and the police came, and we all hugging each other and just like, wow, like I can't believe that happened. And we all went into the ambulance together that morning, and I just remember like, oh my gosh, I hope my mom never finds out about this, and she probably won't know this story until she sees this video. Actually, the police was like, oh, they're gonna follow it to the hospital, make sure everyone's okay first, and then they're gonna have their questions, of course. And they're questioning the guy, like, why were you drinking and driving? He knows that he was in the wrong. He's like feels messed up about everything that happened, and that's all he could do at this point. We're at the hospital. I was waiting with the guy I was, you know, dating at the time. And we were just shocked and just hoping that they were okay, because they were getting checked out and just making sure that they didn't have any concussions and so on and so on. And we were there for quite a bit. And I remember the guy who, you know, crashed into the car, his parents arrived. They were so upset with him. They were speaking a different language, which was Spanish. And they were just like, you know, just really yelling, really frustrated and upset, because now they're thinking he's gonna get in trouble. You know, the insurance is gonna go up for him, coming towards us and just saying, we apologize, we're so sorry. You know, there's nothing we could do. We just can't say it's okay, because it's not okay. But we're just like, thank you. Like, we respect you for coming over and talking to us about that just a little bit, because some parents wouldn't even come over. Just hoping that everything was gonna work out in our favor, to the point where my friend could fully feel okay down the road of where she doesn't get any backaches and stuff like that. And unfortunately, she did a little. It was really such a crazy time. We were just experiencing everything together, and we did not expect that to happen. Obviously, that night, us having that bond that we will always remember is something that I would not be forgotten, for at least not for me, that situation. After that night, I think I got back to my best friend's house that time. I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I think her parents was asking her later on, like, where were you and why did you get home so late and all that stuff, because it was really late. It was like the next day, basically. We were so tired and we just went straight to bed. I remember like just staying at her house for like quite a long time during that day, afternoon, and then I went back home. It could have been worse that night, and I'm just thankful that everything worked out. My advice to everyone is to really go with your gut feeling. Is a real thing for me. If you feel like you don't want to go clubbing one night, or you don't want to do this or whatever, if you really feel like in the gut, like, I don't think it's a good night for me to go out, you should just say no and stay home. Do that. Just, you know, text your friend, text whoever, and just like, hey, I don't feel like going out tonight. Sorry, girl. Like, maybe next week. Thank you all for watching my video today. Please like, share, and subscribe. All my social media contacts are below, so don't forget to connect with me, and I'm gonna have new videos every week.